And we are live. Can you hear me okay, GodCloud?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, you sound great.
All right, cool. No,
Yes.
no fan noise.
Nope.
All right, perfect, perfect.
Sweet. Yeah. So, what's up, everyone? It's Friday, so we are caballing, hanging out with my brother GodCloud. We are musicians, putting our music on chain. GodCloud is a first finger drummer on chain. Got to check out the brother. He's so talented. I mean, he's got beats that you can download, that you can use to create with, that you can use to listen to. He's always putting out videos with this beautiful drone footage. If you don't know my brother GodCloud, you've never seen him before, definitely give him a follow and tap into what he's doing. He's always sharing like cool tech stuff. Like he's the first person told me about DPin. Like he's really always into some interesting stuff. So if you don't know my brother GodCloud, definitely got to get to know him. GodCloud, you introduce yourself to the people.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? I mean, you said mostly everything, but yeah. Musician my whole life. First finger drummer on, and I guess you could say on chain in general. I haven't met any like people who were on Bitcoin or anything, but yeah, I was the first on Ethereum to be specific. Uh, and yeah, I've been doing a lot of a lot of other stuff in the space ever since. Currently, CTO of Malas Palabras Records, which is again founded by George Lopez and Andy Vargas, lead singer Carlos Santana's band, and we've got a bunch of cool tech also in the works in tandem with our Web3 stuff that we're building too. So really hyped to get that stuff going. But again, I'm the odd man out with a Mac, so I'm waiting for the Mac compatible stuff to get built, and then I'm gonna really start unleashing all this shit on everybody. But yeah, musician. I used to do a bunch of stuff. People call me the Black Forrest Gump because I've been in like everything and been in so much historical shit in the past, you know. But yeah, I'm here. We caballing today. What's going on? Let's get it.
We are caballing. And for anyone who doesn't know, my name is Maxximillian. My friends call me Maxximillian because Max is somebody else's name. Don't try it, fam. Don't try it. Maxximillian always. And super excited to get into some tea with my brother GodCloud today. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's a couple juicy things in the news, in the music related news that I wanted to tap into. But one of the things that I discovered last night was I discovered this great video that Dame Dash uh, recorded, and I think it was inspired in response to something that was going on. But he just said so many deeply good, interesting things, deeply good, interesting things. And so I wondered if you'd seen this, and I wanted to just talk with you a little bit. So, GodCloud, do you know? You said that you saw that Dame Dash made a challenge to 50 Cent.
So I didn't see the challenge. I just saw like 50's rebuttal. Didn't really hear much about the chat. All I heard was 50 saying that Dame was broke or something or other. Um, yeah, but again, I don't know anything about what's going on right now.
Yeah, he did make a comment like that. So this whole video, Dame Dash is like, I had no, first of all, I didn't realize that Dame Dash is such a great troll because he's hilarious. He basically showed us for like 40 minutes why is he broke, taking us through all the different business verticals and the different things that's really important to him that he's been doing, why he's broke. This is why I'm broke. And it's like, it's kind of like I'm like paraphrase would be like, this is why I'm broke. I just built a school. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
sure. Okay. Got it. Got it.
This is why it's broke. I just paid for 6 children to go to college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's such a great video. But he puts out this challenge. The challenge is like across all the verticals. It's this CEO challenge. He said, you know this song? We could go band for band. We could
Yes.
go
Yeah.
M for M. That's
Yeah.
Dame
Yeah.
Dash
Yeah.
all over. He's like, let's go network for network, show for show, album for album. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, and I'm like, I really hope that 50 Cent rises to the occasion. I just would love to see the,
Yeah.
you know,
A boss
and
off, basically. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
This is
Sure.
what we've
Yeah.
been, this is what we wanted. You know what I'm saying? Not, don't get me wrong. It's been fun watching the back and forth rap battles, but this is like taking content battling to like a whole nother level. So I just, uh, I just had to make sure everyone sees this. Let me just show the video for just a few seconds here. There's so many, there's like so many good and important things he said. I mean, it's hard even to know like what to share or like where to begin. But let me just pick a random spot and see if it's juicy. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear this?
No.
No? Okay, hold on. Let me try this again. Share the audio. Okay. I see. See how this is going.
Can actually do things with speed. There's no asking.
Anything?
So
Yes.
these are my challenges. Also, another challenge.
Okay, so let me go a little bit further back.
Okay.
Uh because it's just too it's just so funny.
Thing is, um, that's not what I perceive, and I'm not mad at that. I'm not counting any dollars how much fast it went, and I wish that someone would have taught me that he learned from, which was $1 million. When I first heard it, I was like, damn, you know, why would 50 come at me like that? I felt like, pause. I felt like, I had said something that he learned from, which was $1 million isn't any money. And even back then, I never said I had so much money because I knew that $1 million, how much fast it went. And I wish that someone would have taught me that. So when you get $1 million, you don't start relaxing and spending frivolously, and you have a higher expectation.
Just there, right? Let me ask you a question, GodCloud. Is $1 million a lot of money for you? Like, is $1 million a lot of money to you? Now?
No. Right now, I mean, you know what? I tell you what. Now that I'm smarter, I could do a lot with $1 million. I've I've in the past, no. Old God Cloud,
I need the entire room filled with Kobe. Give me the Kobe.
yeah, right. Like old me, like I've blown that, a couple times over. Uh, and again, with nothing to really like show for it. Like you wouldn't have known that I had the money that I had, how I came out. It's like, okay, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? But
yeah.
but now I could do a lot with $1 million, and I'll tell you why really quick, because
Tell
all
me
that
slow.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah, tell us slow because this is
All
important.
right. No, I'm fucking around. Because everything that he was talking about,
Yeah.
everything that he was talking about, I've already kind of got situated. Like I don't have, and when I say that, what he was talking about, again, this is what I heard 50 saying about how Dame told him, like, oh yeah, you get $1 million, get yourself a chain. You break off your homies, this shit, that shit. That's not a lot. You know what I mean? I don't really have any homies. They're all dead or in jail at this point, sadly. So that's not a thing. I don't really rock jewelry, and as you can see, I already have like enough instruments and guitars, and that's like my jewelry. Like I've always been like that. Like I never was into sneakers or chains. I'm like, yo, I'd rather get a fucking rare guitar, and that's me. So I have all that. I've got everything that I need now. So getting that money, and I've been through big money, so now that's not going to be like, oh shit, you know. I could get $1 million and chill on that for a long time. Probably take 50,000 and start, flipping some properties or some shit like that, and then turn that into another couple mil over time, and be cool.
Digital properties?
No, like actual, like real estate. That's
I think
what my
I need the
yeah.
GodCloud real estate course. And you flipping properties for $50,000.
No, listen, no, my dad buys the weirdest properties that you would be like, what? Like, why would you buy that? Like, he bought this parking lot or this lot where all the drunks hang out. And they're like, oh shit, you bought the lot. He's like, yeah, y'all good. And then like later on, he's like, hey, I'm selling this. He flipped the lot where the drunks hang out. Who would have thought and that was the thing, is that people weren't thinking about that property.
It was undervalued.
But because of the house that it was adjacent to, that gave it some value. And then he ended up working a deal with the people who were selling that house, and made multiple times over the money that he spent on it. So
is your dad adopting?
I don't think he's
I'm
gonna. Yeah,
I'm trying to get some of this wisdom, yo. I mean, is there? I'm just had to ask.
No, I think he's good with the 8 of us. So he's got
what's one more? Just ask him, okay? Just ask him. Show him my picture. Show him my picture. Just ask him, okay? So, like, did your dad impart this knowledge? So now I have to ask you a follow-up question. When? Because I know that it's not if. When did your dad impart you with this knowledge, or when did you start picking up on your dad, like doing this real estate stuff? Because still to this day, I feel like some adults, I won't say they're my friends, because my friends, I feel, have gotten to know their parents because they understand that their parents are people worth getting to know. But some people that I've met, they don't know, even as adults, they don't know what their parents do for a profession. They don't really know like their parents' business or anything. And I can see that like you and your dad have a different relationship. And I'm just curious, like at what point that transference of knowledge started happening? When did your dad start teaching you game?
Yeah, shit, like since forever, like, so you gotta understand, like my pops is an OG, right? Like he's a street legend here, like people who know my name, they're like, oh shit, like you're so and so's kid. Oh wow, okay, and either doors open or they get slammed shut. You know what I'm saying? like it's right. Like when I bought my car, right? The dude who I bought my car off of, he's looking at me, and he's like, "Who are you?" Like, GodCloud, bitch, like what? Like I'm trying to, like, what's up? What? He's like, "No, you look like somebody. You look like somebody." And then I tell him who I am. He's like, "Oh, hey." And he's like, all shaking my hand and shit. And my kid's mom's looking like, "What the fuck is happening?" Because the dude was just like, "Yo, okay, yeah. So check, like, da 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 da." And I'm like, "Bro, like, it's cool. I'm not gonna call him up here to do any, like, it's fine."
Hurry up with that thing you're doing.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's like, bro, we're good. But yeah, that's how I grew up, and I can remember when I was a kid, I had to have been like maybe like 5 or 6. We were walking into like a Perkins. I don't know if you guys have Perkins out west. You remember Perkins?
There's not. I don't think there's a Perkins in California, but my mom is from Minnesota, and I know that's where I saw Perkins with all the syrups.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes. Yep, with the little things.
I am a pancake eating ass bitch. I will eat some fucking pancakes.
Oh my god!
Give me all the syrups. Give me all the syrups. Dude.
I fucking miss Perkins, man. But yeah, he used to always take me to Perkins when I was a kid, and I remember we're walking in, and mind you, my dad had fucking money, like money, but he sees a dime on the ground. He's like, "Hey, get that." I'm like, "Huh?" He's like, "That's money on the ground. Get that." I'm like, shit. And just shit like that would stick in my head. Or if somebody shorted him like 3 cents, he would be like, "Yo, you shorted me on my change. It says this much. It says, I'm supposed to get 47 cents back. You gave me 43. Whatever, type shit." And I'm like, "Dad, like, you really tripping? You really tripping over some funky pennies?" But he would say, "Don't let nobody ever short you nothing. Nothing."
It was a
Don't
matter
ever
of
let
principle.
right, right. And that shit is what stuck with me growing up, growing up through everything that I've been in. Don't let nobody short you nothing. You said you're gonna pay me 20, what you got 19, bro? No, 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 because now you playing with me, and now see, now I'm getting into this old mindset
No,
that
but you know what? But do share that though. Do share that. It's valid.
yeah, no, but that's the thing, because when you start setting precedents like that, people know to come to you, correct? Because those stories get out, whether you believe it or not. People are gonna tell, like, yo, man, he was freaking bugging over that funky dollar. They're gonna say, over that funky $2, that funky dollar, he was bugging, But other people are gonna see that, and they're either gonna wanna deal with you to kind of show people, like, listen, I can hang with this person, and now you're elevating your circle. Now you're elevating people who you deal with just from
Mm,
setting a precedent and standing on principle. People say standing on business now, but standing on your principles and
yep.
everything. So growing up, it was always stuff like that, and even throughout life, like when I started getting in the game too, like some like shit would happen, and I'd be like, damn, like what do I do? And my dad'd be like, yo, you know what the fuck, you gotta like go fucking straighten that shit the fuck out. And most people's parents would be like, oh no, like please, like da 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 da.
Turn the other cheek.
Right, right, right. Like, and I can
So
remember
they can
too.
slap that one too.
Yeah, like my one, and this is the last story I'm gonna say. Then we can get back
No,
to the
don't
video.
let it be the last
But
story.
no, I'm just saying, like the subliminals my dad would teach me. And
Oh, give us these. I'm serious. Like all of us orphaned out of your family. These are the stories that we need.
yeah, so I was a little kid, right, and we had just moved out to the suburbs, right, and I was playing with the neighborhood kids, and for whatever reason, this one kid kept punching me in the stomach, and I'm like 4 or 5 at this age, right? This kid keeps hitting me in my fucking stomach, and I'm like, yo, like what the fuck? And I remember he hit me, and I just walked home. I walked home, and my dad was like, "Fuck going on?" And now, mind you, my dad has been like shot multiple times, and the people who have shot him ended up in the hospital.
Damn.
Like, he didn't even have weapons on him at the time when those few instances.
Oh
Um,
my gosh, I love it. That's the
yeah,
story where the guy goes, "Oh, you should see what happened to the other guy.
no,
This is nothing."
seriously, and I've got the newspaper clipping talking about the shit too. Yeah,
Legend.
it's fucking, but just so you understand, like who my
Yeah.
paternal figure was, or
Yeah.
is rather. But so this kid punches me in the stomach. My dad's like, next time you do something to him. And I'm like, okay. I'm a little kid. I'm like, so my pops gets me a kiddie pool, right? And he's out in the backyard filling it up. And he's like, hey, why don't you have some of your friends come play? I'm like, all right, okay, shit, whatever. So the other kid, I think his name was Casey. Casey, if you're watching, fuck you, dude. But I'm glad I did this. But we're swimming, we're I get some kids, whatever, and the Casey kid, he's there, and upset me. I can't remember how we got to the like how we were, but we're both like kind of looking in the pool, and my dad's like going like, and I'm like, he's like, I'm like, oh. And I'm like that, and he's like, so
Good job.
yeah. So my
Oh,
dad like
amazing.
talks me into fucking half drowning this fucking kid, and I'm like, oh, okay. So
Avenge
I just,
thyself.
yeah.
Avenge thyself, son.
So just shit like that was always implanted in my mind growing up. Don't ever if something ain't sitting right with you, somebody say some shit with you that ain't sitting right. Don't let it. Don't let it. Don't let it. And yeah, and be careful with your bread too. Be mindful about your money. Don't fuck it up. Even though I got an action figure habit that's worse than like any drug habit that I've ever kicked. But it's
Well, he didn't
I
say don't have habits.
yeah, that's true too. Because it's like this dude will go through like fucking Benzes like they're freaking underwear, which is hilarious. But But yeah, so all of that shit kind of, is what let me go through what I've gone through and still
Yeah.
come out on the other side all right. Because I always say, like, on paper, I shouldn't be doing the stuff that I'm doing. Like, if you look at, like, okay, this, like, dude didn't go to college. Like, I didn't go to college, got in trouble quite a bit. That usually when all that stuff is going on, people don't like get into the circles that I've been able to get into or to get the titles that
I'm
I've gotten,
sorry, but I think you have to do those things to get in a circle.
That's how I think. I'm like, shit, dude. Like,
You ain't got no you ain't got no charges. Oh yeah, yeah. Your patios over there.
for
Your
real,
patios
yeah.
over there. Your patios over there. You can't even put out an album if you ain't never been arrested. I mean, don't even try.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, that's real shit too. It's like, yo, like, and I get it because I didn't get arrested until like later on in my life. But that's what would keep like saving me because I'd get in trouble and they'd be like, oh, this dude doesn't have a rap sheet, so whatever, you're cool. But then that shit started to escalate. They're like, dude, like, no, 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 no,
It's
no, no.
time for a rap sheet.
Yeah, they're like, no, 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 no. Don't let him go this time. Nope. Don't let him go.
Oh my gosh. So $50,000 is all that you would need to flip or to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So $1 million, I love the way you said $1 million would be, you could do a lot with $1 million now, like with your knowledge. So what's interesting is I was watching this thing with Dame, and then I was like, and I flipped over to see 50's response, like
Mm-hmm.
he's something that he said, right? And 50 said kind of the same thing as you. He said $1 million is a lot for him. For someone like 50 Cent, he can do a lot with $1 million. He can, just like you or like myself, right? We could do a lot more with $1 million than the average person, definitely, because we know like all these different things and stuff like that. That's really really interesting to me. That was like one of the first things that came to mind as I thought, is $1 million not a lot of money? It really depends on who you are. And like you
Mm-hmm.
too, like if I get paid $1 million for some music that I'm making, I'm not breaking off the homies.
Yeah.
Sorry, bitches. Y'all bitches were not in the studio with me when I was
No.
writing this shit. Y'all wasn't in there blotting my forehead when I was in there sweating. Y'all wasn't in there holding my hand when I was crying over motherfuckers. So don't expect any of this bread. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't want to share. But I remember, I mean, it really used to be, and I say used to be because I think in the last, really, I think since streaming music, since artists started to get wise too about like budgets and stuff, uh, there used to really be a thing. People used to really did expect you to get broken off,
Mm-hmm.
if you get your check because they didn't know the business. I just feel like these days musicians are smarter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 100%. And that's, that I think a lot of that came from the internet too. And again, I think I told you this story about how my dad gave me publishing papers, like BMI, like publishing paperwork when I was a kid, like when I was in like fifth grade and shit,
I love your dad.
Yeah. And
I'm
because
I'm getting a little bit. I got a little bit of dad jealousy right
yeah.
now. You know what I'm
well,
saying? My
well,
father's a musician, nigga. Let me figure out everything on my own. No, bro, no good.
listen, for the most part, so did he, you know what I mean? Like he like
No,
trust me, like
no, he
I
showed
had
you that
he
that's huge. The
yeah.
BMI papers is huge. GodCloud, that's huge. Like,
No, it is, but I still, I thought little me, like, fifth grade GodCloud was going around telling people that I could give him a record deal with these publishing papers. I was like, it's a recording contract. I'm like
it's a
trying to
publishing
sign
deal.
my
It's a publishing
friends.
deal.
Yeah, kind of,
You
I
you
guess
could
so.
you could. It's a publishing deal. Hey, I remember there was a time in my career where that's what I wanted. I had a
Yeah.
goal, and my goal was to get a publishing deal with and
Mm-hmm.
I would get XXX, and I could write my little songs and get paid. That was my dream
Yeah,
for a little while.
yeah, yeah. No, and you know what, like what I ended up doing with all of that, like I think I even still have the papers in that, and he gave them to me in this briefcase that I used to keep my weed in when I was a kid. But
That
I
I
think
used to keep my weed in when I was a kid.
yeah. And I wrote top secret on it too, so keep my mom out of it. So in case she found this briefcase smelling like weed, she'd be like, "Oh, it's top secret. Let me back off."
Did that work? Did that work?
No, it didn't
Oh.
work. It didn't fucking work. It didn't work. It didn't work.
Wait,
It didn't
because
work.
you got that from your dad, right? It did because it didn't work when he did it either, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't work. But no, when I became GodCloud, and I say when I wanted to release music, because I was like, how the fuck you put music out? Like, how the fuck do you do it? I'm like, and I want to do it in the way that I leave nothing on the table. And I just read up on it. I read up, you have to pay BMI a little extra, and you can be a publisher through BMI. And once you have your record label, you can do all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I did that. I read about it. And I did that. And I started thinking, I'm like, how come people didn't know? Like, how did TLC not know how to do this shit? And and I figured it out, But it's the internet. Information is more prevalently available, so we can research. You know what I mean? That's what I think anyway.
But you know what? I mean, I am so when I started writing professionally, I was still in school. Okay. High school. And the internet it's not at all like it was today. It just wasn't. But the information was there. I had to learn from the people in my real life, and it was really hard making those connections. But I feel like it's all about who you surround yourself with, right? And unfortunately, and I'm definitely not trying to disparage anyone, but all mentors are not created equal. And there are some mentors who see that a person is uneducated, and those are the first people that they take advantage of.
Yeah.
Right? And there are other mentors, when they see a person as uneducated, the first people that they protect and say, come here, let me show you something. Come on, pull your socks up. Come here. Let me fix your hair.
Yeah.
Look. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because I care. Bitch, if you look bad, I look bad. You do something stupid, then everyone's expecting me to do the same stupid shit you're doing, and now I have to straighten them out. No. See something, say something. So I feel like, in answer to your question, why didn't TLC do this? I feel, and I always feel sorry to hear that some talented artists ever had a moment that could have been elevated if only they had received better care. It hurts my soul. But all I can do is be that bitch to uplift bitches and be like, hey, I see you're putting music out there. Is it registered? I'm that bitch. I'm always in everyone's, anytime
Yeah.
a person, hey, Maxximillian, I got this new drop. Did you register your music? I'm going to tell everyone right now, if you don't register your music, I'm not buying it because I don't take you seriously.
That's a fact. That's true.
You'll
And especially in
never,
on-chain world too.
yeah, right? You'll never win a Grammy or any other award if you don't register your music. Let that sink in. To me, if people are making music and they're just putting it out there and they're not registering their songs and they're not registering with anyone, not putting it through just you don't respect your own music when you're doing stuff like that. And I don't respect it either. And I say that because it's so easy to do this. And everybody knows that there is stuff to do. Everybody knows that there's something that they don't know. Just like how you said, you were like, okay, how is music put out? How do I do it, right? Every person who's recording music has to have this question when they put it out there. And they have to understand, well, how does 50 Cent put his music out? You know what I mean? I feel like it's about the type of person you are. How ambitious are you? How bad do you want to be good? I want to be the greatest. Bad. Bad. That's why I'm reading all the manuals. I'm reading the fine print. I'm
Hmm.
looking for, all the leverage, right? It's about the person who I am inside because I'll be honest, some of those same trash mentors, the people who, when they first see someone that's uneducated, the first thing, those are the first people they take advantage of. I was around those same people too.
Mm.
But when they told me things, DYOR. Unfortunately, I see this trap all the time where artists, not only musicians, actors are especially guilty of this. Writers, especially writers of books and screenplays, are super guilty of this. We want so much to come along and take our career in hand and help guide us so that we can just focus on the art part. But that's dangerous. It's
Right.
really dangerous. And so I feel like, this was like a long answer, but I felt like I really wanted to express this. Like, why don't people register? Why don't they do these things? I think sometimes there's people around that are making the person feel like they do know everything,
Hmm.
and they're kind of shielding them from they're shielding them from the curiosity of finding out more. It's like, if someone has a manager and that manager seems to be standing on business, and that manager, all of a sudden you didn't have shit, all of a sudden you're getting paid, your bills are paid, you got this, da, 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 probably will never occur to you, this person may not have my best interest at heart because they made such a positive change in your life. Might just start assuming that everything is all gravy, but you still need to look into those things, I feel.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. And I've noticed too with certain partners that I've had, the
Mm.
more I started to look into just other shit, the more anxious they got. I'm like, what you getting nervous for, man? Like, I just want to see how you do this over here. You know, like, what's up? And they're like, oh, and I'm like, and yeah, and that's why I always believe in just having an understanding of everything, like just with like I might not be. I know, like when we were talking earlier, I was working on my car and shit, right? And I'm not. I wouldn't
Impressive.
I wouldn't like consider myself a mechanic.
Okay,
Um,
I would, but okay.
but yeah, yeah,
You got you got the key to a shop.
well, not anymore, not anymore, not
Okay.
anymore, not anymore. But I can still, whatever. But the thing is, like, I don't like I haven't and I guess when I say that I mean like I haven't done certain things, but I understand how cars work. I understand how the parts and all this shit, that shit. So I there was something that was giving me hell though with my car. And I took it somewhere to get a diagnostic. I had to take it to like the dealership to have them do like their full diagnostic and all that shit on there. And they're telling me that it's gonna be like, $2,000 to fix something. And I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? I'm like, dude, if you're telling me that this is the problem, I know that that is $30. I know that I could go to the store and get that for $30, and you're telling me that it's gonna be
The
21.
labor is $1,920.
Yeah, right. But
It
it's
is.
crazy,
They're like,
But
but we have to move the engine so we can get to that. So it's gonna be good.
yeah, right. Like we got to get four people to lift it like that, and then we got to get
We
somebody
have
to
to
time
call
them.
my cousin to come in from Puerto Rico. He's the only
Yeah,
one that has the pulley for the
right.
engine.
It's a special Puerto Rican pulley puller. Like,
Right.
that's the what's gonna cost, yo. That's what's gonna cost. Like we got to pay for his passport from Puerto Rico. It's like, wait a minute, what? But no, but it's shit like that. Like I know I have a slight understanding of that's not the case. So if you're about to assemble a team or if you're having people around you, try to have an understanding of what's going on. So when people start moving funny, you can say like, hey, dude, if you got to do X, Y, and Z, why are you over here talking about some A and B? A, B, and C. You feel me? Because it's like I like let's walk through this together. And once you start showing that they're either gonna clarify. Well, listen,
well, I didn't
yeah,
actually mean it was going to cost you $2,000.
yeah,
What I meant is it could cost
right, yeah,
$2,000.
some shit like that. Like either clarify it for me or be like, oh damn, like my mistake. Like I don't know,
Oh, you wanted the
but
generic part? Oh, that's only $60. Sorry, dude. I thought you wanted the premium.
they were, and just for some clarification, they were trying to charge me $500 for a used fucking axle. When the only thing bad on my axle was a thing called the tone ring, which sits behind the brake assembly and all that shit, right? And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, so what was the problem? And they're like, oh, it's the tone ring, but we found you a used axle for $500, and it's going to cost another $500 to put the thing in, and then your wheel bearing in the front. That's $400 with another $600 for the labor, then plus $200 diagnostic. And I'm like, dude, what are you fucking saying? I'm like, I can get you an axle brand new right now for $70. What are you fucking talking about? But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Have an understanding of what's going on, and that type of shit won't happen so easily, I should say, because it's still they might be able to pull a fast one. Yeah, people can pull fast ones.
So you bring up an interesting point, and I think this is really super important, and I'm so glad that this came up. Now, just for anyone who doesn't know, GodCloud is incredibly tall. He's an intimidating figure in person if he wants to be. I just need to say that, okay? So like, your mileage may vary, okay? But everyone needs to have a way to handle these situations. It's really important because I can think of lots of times where someone recognized that someone was trying to get the wool over on them, right? But they didn't. Berhanu, what up? Okay, I just have to take a break from what I was saying, and I'll get back to it. But my friend just sent me a text. I just got to give a shout out to our brother Berhanu. I'm so looking forward to seeing you. Last time I saw him was Art Basel. I look forward to seeing you again, my friend. He said he's having a great time hanging with us. So I just wanted to pass that forward to you, GodCloud. Yeah.
Let's go.
Right? Let's go. But so one of the things I've noticed, and I've seen this happen right in front of my eyes, even sometimes I've even had coached someone on like how to handle a situation where someone was trying to get over. A lot of times people are not comfortable confronting a person who's trying to take advantage of them. Can you please give us your tea on this? I'd love to know, your insights, framed for people who, framed for somebody to help them, because knowing that someone is pulling the wool over your eyes is just the first part. Then there's the second part where you have to act like you got to take action on that knowledge. So what are your thoughts there?
So I think there's a couple things there. There's a couple things that are happening in those situations, right? It could be, one, that they just aren't confrontational people, right? Some people just aren't confrontational at all, like, how can I say this without like saying too much? Like somebody in my life, their significant other was a real fucking sack of shit, and they would be afraid to say that. But me, I'm like, bitch, let's fight,
Right, exactly.
I'm like, I'll fight you right now, that's me, I'm a bit of a conflict junkie. But so there's that. There's people who might, be afraid of the conflict. Then I think there are people who are kind of afraid to admit that they might be ignorant in something, and they just don't have the ammo to say, damn,
hey,
they don't know better, right?
Willis, what you talking about, Willis? Like they're not confident that they're being taken advantage of, and they don't want to say it just in case they're wrong.
Yeah, and they don't want to look stupid, you know what I mean? And I'll admit, like, I've been in situations like that, you know what I mean? Like, just being like, damn, like, fuck, I just don't know. I don't even know how to call this motherfucker out right now. Like, shit, something in my stomach got me feeling off, but I don't know. I can't sync up my gut and my brain right now to make that nah, homie,
Okay, missing information.
Yep. So there's the fear of confrontation. There's just, plain old ignorance, being, ignorant to the situation. And this one might be a bit controversial, but I see this a lot in relationships, like when people are suspecting that someone is like cheating or some shit like that, you know, there's a fear of like rejection or just being alone because they don't want to, you know, maybe this person might guilt trip them and say some bad shit and be like, oh, like you really think that I do that? Like, I can't deal with you. You just get away, you know? And
Mm,
and people are like, wait a minute, no, wait, no, no, please, no, no, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I think it's those three things. There's probably
Mm,
more, you know, and I don't know if there's like a psychological name or like a clinical name for all those things, but
mm,
yeah, that's what I feel like is happening when somebody knows they're being bullshitted, but they don't want to quite say that they are, and it's because of those things. And I've been on, you know, all sides of both of the all those things, you know. Like sometimes I've been the one bullshitting, you know, been like, oh no, me, come on, not me, you know, and I know like shit. Hope they don't call me out like all the way because I'm gonna have to fucking run, you know.
Yo, I love your candor. You're like, I've been on both sides of the fuck shit right now. I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell you.
no, for
Yeah.
real. You know, it's like shit. It's just like, yo, it's like 10 of these dudes. Fuck. What's that over? Give me the money. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? But no, you know, like that's what it really comes down to. But you ultimately gotta know, you gotta be all right with being comfortable with your decisions at the end of the day. You know, like it's been times where I've called out people on some shit, been like, yo, you're fucking lying to me. Like, what? You gonna call me? And that because now that's opening up the can of worms. They're gonna have to defend themselves. They're going
Mm,
to. They're gonna get and you're closing in on them. You're backing them
mm,
into a fucking
mm,
corner, and
mm.
you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready because humans, we're you know, yes, exactly. Humans will act like caged animals too, because you know we are animals essentially. You know,
Yeah,
same thing.
we don't have as much hair. People think we're, we're just fancy. That's all.
Right. I mean, I mean, this
Wow.
is, but it's coming out of my head, not like on my body, luckily, you know. Like, I'm not a hairy dude. Like, people think I like shave my legs and shit. I'm like, no, I'm just not hairy. Like, I don't have a lot of hair. Like yeah. Anyway, whatever. But, that was about to take a left. But, yeah, like, you gotta either be ready for the smoke or you got to be comfortable with whatever, you know, with whatever mind games that the person who's bullshitting you might throw at you. So that's how I'd categorize the emotions when you're calling somebody out, and that's the
Yeah.
advice I would give to somebody who's potentially going through something like that.
Okay, I didn't hear any advice actually, so I'd like to actually just tiptoe back into this conversation a little bit. So
Oh,
what
sure. Yeah. Oh.
what if so what if you're not getting out of this GodCloud. So what if so a person, let's say, like you said, they're afraid of confrontation. They recognize this motherfucker is lying, right? What advice would you give to this person who actually is not down to confront? Is there another avenue or exit or behavior or habit
Ooh.
or a way that this person could try if they didn't have your height and your confidence and your muscles and your street cred? Someone who, for
Yeah.
all these reasons, lacks the confidence. How could they, still being authentic to themselves, how could they navigate in that moment where they're like, this bitch is lying? Or when they said, you know what? They said it was $20 and now they're telling me it's $400. They're at the mechanic shop right in the middle of getting bamboozled. How could a person like that navigate?
Well, yeah. So again, so depending on your options, what I would say to do if you're not trying to have no conflict, I would say try to stall. Say, hey, let's talk about this later. You know, try to shut it down right then and there. Just be like, you know, hey. But again, there's gonna be some more pressure. There's gonna be some like, oh, well, I'm not gonna be around later, or I gotta go do this or do, you know, like, hey, you know, if you don't do it now, it's gonna be another couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? Um, so, but you still have to, and this is how I'd say to start building that mental toughness, though,
Hmm.
is to start thinking am I going to put this person over me? Am I going to put their needs before mine?
I need
You
some
know?
sound effects. I need a power up sound
Yeah.
for that right
Yeah.
there.
Because that, and how I think of a lot of shit is, and I'm, because usually when I'm in the shower at night is when I start like replaying shit from earlier in the day. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not about to be thinking about, oh man, I wish I would have said this in the shower later. So we about to handle this shit now. Like a lot of the conflicts that I've, you know, been in is because I'm like, I'm not thinking about this shit in the shower later. Fuck you.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, consider that. Like you have to start building a bit of mental toughness because all this shit is self-preservation. That's what this stuff really is, you know, and every
Mm-hmm.
human being needs to strengthen that in their mind, strengthen that mental muscle, you know. So if you're really not wanting to have that conflict, stall. Fucking lie. Be like, hey, I can't do that right now. Let me go to, you know, or say, okay, it's gonna be this much here. I need to get my car, but let me drive back to the ATM. I'll go get the money. Let me go get it, and then just whatever. Or if you have a support system, call them. I've had to go, like one of my exes, she had her car. This dealership was trying to steal her car from, like,
Oh
they
no.
and she
Like,
had
oh
the,
ma'am, we just did $30,000 in repairing your car. If you don't have $30,000, this car's ours, ma'am.
yeah,
Sorry.
some type shit, some weird type shit like that. And she had the breathalyzer thing in her car because she had got a D-dub like a few months prior, right? And they unhooked it. And the police like called her and were like, yo, what the fuck going on? Because you can't do that. You know, you can't fuck with that shit. So they've got her car in the garage, won't give her the car for whatever reason. She calls me. I come from work. I'm like, yo, take my car. I'll meet you at the house. I ended up going into the to the little office where they had all the keys, and I'm like, "Yo, are you so and so?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, and I got one of the mechanics' names. I'm like, "So and so needs to see you about some documents or something." They said they asked me to come in here and tell you to go talk to them. They're over that way. And she's like, "Oh wow, really? Okay." So she gets up, walks out. I walk behind the desk, grab the keys, go into the garage, get the car, and just take off. You know, so think about who you got to support you to help get you out of shit like that. You know, if you really don't want to, if you don't want to smoke, find somebody who does want to smoke, or avoid, of just make up something to get out of that situation. Just make up something to get out of that situation. And I hope that people start practicing this stuff in smaller ways. You know, with one thing, people who are like, hey, yo, can I use your phone to call somebody? Don't, and I'm not going to tell you not to tell them, no, you can't use my phone, but start practicing. I'll call them for you. What do you want me to do? That's a small way to do it. Be like, no. I don't let people home. What's their number? I'll call them. That's a small way to start getting into the habit of doing stuff like that. I used to tell people I ain't got no minutes on my phone. People like, minutes. What? Like, it's 2020, motherfucker. You ain't got no minutes. What? Minutes.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. GodCloud, these are gems.
Thank you.
These Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you let me lean on you extra hard for that advice because people need that, you know. People need
Yeah,
that.
no doubt.
It's really important. I really love what you said about asking yourself, am I going to put this motherfucker over me? Do you like them better than yourself?
Yeah, yeah.
Who's got better socks? If your socks look better, that's already, you know what I'm saying, a point in your direction. This is, it's serious. It's serious business though. Especially, those quiet moments alone. Those are the tough ones. And
Right.
there's a shadow element too. Uh, this came now. I see this all the time, but it's also even been in a rap song. Uh, Extra credit. I'll tell you what. If anyone is able to tell me correctly the song that covers this, I'll send you any of my artworks, gift from me. Um, there's this song, and it talks about how sometimes people are acting tough with the wrong people because of previous times they didn't stand up for themselves.
Mm, I don't know the song.
Okay, I'll just leave it there. I won't spoil it in case somebody does. It's like probably it's one of the world's favorite rappers makes a point to this, but it's really important because when we allow people to get over on us, even if it's just for a few pennies or whatever. So here's my galfa. That's alpha from a gal. Is people are like sharks, right? So for anyone who doesn't know what I'm referring to, before it bites you, a shark will bump you to see if you're food and what you are. Before a burglar robs a place, they case the joint. They come and look around. They check it out. There's always some kind of test. Before a concert, we have a sound check. You know, before you fuck the pussy, I hope you lick it first. You know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of little tests that we're supposed to do to make sure things go smoothly. Puns intended. Hey, I got to keep people awake. You know what I'm saying? But there's all these little tests, you know, and I say that not only to be crass, it's one of my favorite flavors, okay? But I say it because I'm trying to show you that this is actually a universal truth. It's a universal truth, all the way down to the sex we have, to the relationships, to the business, even to the way that we do concerts. There's always a little test. Crypto 2009, we got a G in the house. Got to throw it up to my homie here. I see we got our friend joining us from X. Crypto 2009 is one of my favorite Pepe artists, and just art in general. Definitely check out Crypto 2009. Love the Pepes, my friend. That's what's up. What was I just saying?
Oh, so yeah, you were talking about how people like test you
okay.
before like stuff happens.
This is really important. So this is what I want everyone to understand. This is coming from my personal life. I know you probably can't tell by looking at me, but guess what? I come from the streets. Why? Why? It's not because that's like it was my choice. I started my career very early, and it put me in contact with all kinds of different people. And the people who I really resonated with, they lived in the hood. And so, you know, I was going deep into the hood. I learned a lot of street shit from street hoods. And probably that's probably there's a lot of that inside of me that was already there. Just I was born with this, and that I'm sure has a lot to do with why I resonated with those people in particular, right? So never be fooled by the cover. But I say this to say, people are like sharks. And so a lot of times when someone does a little thing, like shortchange you or make a little comment or whatever, it's like a shark bumping you to see if you're food. And if you don't snatch that motherfucker, they're going to bite your ass. So this is another reason why I think it's super important to pay attention to how people treat you. And if someone sees like, oh, the change was supposed to be like 47 and they gave you 45 and you didn't say anything, they'll test you again to see what other stuff. Yep. What other stuff you know you won't say anything about. It's possible. Sometimes it's little errors, but it's usually not. People are always paying attention to, you know, even if it's not like deliberate, people are always paying attention to, you know, how mindful of you like are, of anything. So I think that's really important. But the other thing is, when we get in the habit of letting things slide, it can really, really build resentment. Because no other people has a full record of everything that you've done except for you. And so like every time someone does a little thing and you don't handle it, every time someone does a little thing, every time, one of these times someone's going to do a little thing and you might totally snap.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of it. And they're like, ma'am, I never seen you before, ma'am, you know?
Right.
Right? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Crypto 2009 knows what's up. Look at this. Let me share this comment up here. Don't test. That's what's up. You got to check cats out here. Yeah, you do got to check people. You do got to check them because also, you know, your reputation precedes you. And that matters a lot too. But the most important thing is like how we feel about ourselves. And GodCloud, when you're saying practice in these small ways, it's super important because imagine if you're used to letting little things slide. Because I just want to address this. A lot of people, they have this conversation. They go, yeah, it's just a little thing. I let the little thing slide. They go, oh, I choose my battles. I choose my battles. Well, you're going to be out of practice when it's time to fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And what really drove that home for me was playing fucking Final Fantasy VII, yo. Like when I figured out that you could run from the fights, because I just, like I don't know if you ever played Final Fantasy VII before. Have you ever
No,
played it? No? So
no.
like your character will be just running around the map, then all of a sudden it's like and you get sucked into a fight. And this might be the last fight you have because you didn't dose up on your cure. You didn't get your magic back up, and you're like, oh shit, like I forgot to swap out my fucking lightning for the ice because we're in the fucking fire level today, But once I figured out, like, oh shit, you can run from the fights. I'm like, okay, bet. So I'd be running from every fucking fight because I'm like, I just want to get through the game. But I didn't realize that as you fought, your characters got stronger. So it got to the point where I hit a wall because I couldn't beat any of the enemies in the games. I wasn't strong enough. And I was like, fuck. I'm like, so when I started that shit back up, I'm like, all fights. All I'm doing is fighting. Like, all I'm doing is fighting everybody. Like, yo, like, I got to the Midgar Solemn. Oh, again, you never mind. I'm about to go on a whole tandem, but
No,
no.
I love it
No.
though. No, you got a point though. This is exactly what we're talking about, is that you have to build that muscle. You got to build that muscle. And it's true for men too, because I'm sorry, but like I have most of my close relationships are actually with guys. This year. That's how it's playing out this year. Ladies, I'm looking for you. Come on. There's plenty of me to go around. I'd love to have more female relationships, but my closest relationships have been with men. And so I'm definitely equipped to say this because we've had lots of private talks. Guys and girls, everyone cares. However hard we like to be on the outside, people do sometimes care what certain people think. And men are not exempt from this, even badass men. There's always someone where you care what they think. Not necessarily like you need them to like you, but maybe it's because it affects your money in some way, or you don't know, or there's like an unknown about how it may affect you, or it could be political or whatever the case. Most of the situations I've seen when people are not standing on business and they allowing another person to get away with something, I see that they are afraid to offend someone who they recognize is not a friend, but who they want to use later.
Yeah. And that goes back to the rejection thing, That goes back to that fear of rejection thing. Like, you don't want, like, oh wait, didn't you said I was lying last time. Now look at you, that, yeah. And that shit happened to me with, I don't want to get too far into it, but with some business relationships within Web3, like let's just say they didn't want me to be connected with people who I'm connected with now. They didn't like that. They liked the fact that they could hit me up for ideas so they could go look cool in front of them. But they didn't want me in the mix at the capacity that I felt I should be. I'm like, hey, if you're hitting me up for the ideas, why can I not be on the call?
I know why. Because they're using your ideas to standing on your business. That's why.
Exactly. But I luckily for me, and everybody don't try this shit at home, but or do, but I don't know if it would have turned out how it turned out had I not kind of proven myself alone without that person and then did what I did. You know what I mean? So there's a way about all this shit, but just feel it out. But yeah, I proved my point outside of that person. You know what I mean? So when I did call them out, it was like, oh, damn, now we see it. Because if you were able to do the same thing over here, now we see what's up. You know what I mean? And that's what, and that was hard because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know, like, shit. Homeboy was, definitely way more connected than I was at the time, and I didn't know what would shit. Like I didn't know what could have happened if he could have said something in my circle too to make everybody be like, oh shit, you know, I don't fuck with GodCloud on some shit. But luckily, you know, I guess not luckily, but homeboys burned so many other fucking people that once I said something about it, everybody's like, oh shit, you too, you know.
And that is important. Once you said something, eh? Once you said something.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
No,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I have a little bit delay, so I wasn't sure. But yeah, it's really important. Like once you said something, that's like another thing is like when there's people in this space that are bad actors, you know, now this is like kind of definitely related to what we were talking about. When you know someone is a snake, uh, not doing business with them, not, you know, acting like you know. But the problem I see a lot of times is people don't want to be associated with someone who behaves that way because they're embarrassed and there's some shame that is felt sometimes when somebody burns you. And I'll just speak like from my own personal. Here, everyone, let me give you some hot tea. So one of my early heartbreaks in Web3 is I made acquaintanceship with this guy, right? And I thought he was so cool. He's really charismatic, right? And I liked his art a lot. His marketing, you know, ideas, everything. He just seemed like somebody that you want to be around, right? At least I'll just use this word I like to use is affable. He was affable, easy to like, with clear qualities. That's cool. Lots of confidence. Could talk very well. Had an interesting body of work. You know, definitely somebody who makes you look good to associate with. Hands down, no question. Plus, he was fun to be around. Conversations were always fun. A really good team leader. Talk about a motherfucker show up every day and get everybody hyped. There was so much about this guy that was just A plus, you know. And I saw this A plus game for like week after week after week after week. I thought that's who the person was, right? And then they invited me to do this project with them, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's go. And then a few weeks into it, it seemed like things should have been progressing, but there seemed to be some type of long stall. And then people who I knew who had initially had a lot of energy for the project started falling off. I remember one of the persons, I won't say who it was, it's a friend of mine, was one of the people that fell off, meaning that they removed themselves from the project. And I sent them a direct message in private and I said, hey, how are you feeling about this project? And I was asking because I was curious, genuinely, you know, and I was hoping that they would say, oh, I saw X and X and X and it wasn't for me, or, oh, I just didn't have time, or, you know, something, but they didn't say anything to me. And I said, uh-oh. So I stayed on, and during the scope of this project, this person, they say, hey, this is totally, you know, totally on another track, but this weekend, there was this talk, there was a huddle, and we're just doing this real quick side project. It's only going to take a week. Just imagine like just a hiatus from the main project we're working on. Help us with this other project. We'll all make a little bit of money, and then we'll go back to the other project. That's how it was brought to me. We were all hanging out. Let me just reiterate. We were all hanging out this weekend at, you know, recreating, right? And so and so and so and so had this idea. And we all just said, yeah, let's do this. Will you help? We're all going to get broke off a little something. That's exactly how it was pitched to me. I was like, sure. Because this is the same team that I was working with. So if I just said no, uh, I just would, you know, they're going to, you know, why? You know what I mean? Plus, I had unique skills to contribute. I'm amazing with like video. I'm amazing with sound, audio. And as it happens, I made the content that got the project sold, and it sold. But what I didn't know is that that guy who invited me to the side project, right? He fucking misrepresented so hard that it was a deliberate fuck over of Maxximillian, because this is what he did. What he didn't do is he didn't present the project as it actually was. He presented it to me like it was a casual personal project between friends in a huddle that was transpired over the weekend. But in actuality, they had drawn up a business contract, there were lawyers involved, and they all signed a contract about who was getting paid. So they all got together and
Oh,
decided who was getting paid. And my name wasn't on that list. In fact, the reason why they made the contract is to exclude everybody else. That's why you do that. You're getting this, 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 I'm getting this. They all signed this contract. And then this person approached me and didn't mention any of that. They had all agreed not to pay me, but he
wow.
still came and asked for my help, presenting it like it was just a casual, like such and such. And when the check came through and everyone got paid, the piece that I was given was so minuscule that it was a fucking insult. And I let the motherfucker know. I said, this is fucking insulting, right? Now, he turned and blamed somebody else. But guess what? Motherfucker, you the one asked for my help. You're the one that should make it right. But I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to see what did he do. He didn't make it right. I'll never work with him again. I'll troll the motherfucker every time I see him because I'm too good of a person. I'm too good of a teammate. I show up every day. I show up with all my big energy. I do everything I can to help. Motherfucker, you going to fuck over me?
Right.
Trash, trash. And this is the worst part, how I found out. Because one of the other people who was on the contract to get paid, he did not like when he realized that this person had misrepresented the project to me. He didn't waste any time. And he said it right in front of the guy's face. We were on a video call. He said, oh, yeah, Maxximillian, you haven't seen the contract? Let me show you. We're on a video call. He pulled up the contract right in front of us on the video call. And I know the guy who bamboozled me, his face must have just been burning, because there's no excuse. You have a signed contract. You came and it was just like game over. I didn't even have to talk to him about anything. Like that's like such a deep, such a deep and blatant fuck over, right? And so
Yeah.
it's like, and I had no, I had no reason to think that that was what was up. You know what I mean? At all. But look,
Right. Right.
these things happen. How then do we proceed, right? Like, I'm not going to be mad at myself. This person, they got shit for integrity, you know? But I can't allow their non-integrity to like salt my game and make me feel like, I don't want to, partner and work with other people. I've had lots of experiences that didn't work out for different reasons, right? But when it's because somebody does something like that, it can really be a blow to like self-esteem. And the thing about that situation and why I took the time to tell this story is because the part that bothered me the most, obviously the money bothered me a lot. That bothered me a lot. But it's like feeling undervalued when I was the one that like did so much too. It was like seeing that a person, if someone treats me like that, I know they must really not see me because you can never see me and then treat me like that. I'm definitely a bitch you want on your side. So if someone's acting like that, that just tells me that they don't see me. Or they don't see me and they think that they're so amazing that they can just treat people any kind of way, right? and that
Yeah.
and that right and that people still want to fuck with them. And usually, now this is what I'm getting to, a lot of times it's true because it goes back to people are not usually willing to burn bridges even with snakes that they think they may be able to use later, right? And it's like, no, because when you try to use someone who doesn't want to be used by you, good luck with that. Because somebody's
Yeah.
got to want to be used by you. There's people that there's some people I say, use me, use me, use me. I want to, I want to help. I want to contribute. But those other people,
Yeah.
and
And that's
it's no
that's
reflection on us. It's no reflection on us. That was like the big thing is I want to say is it feels like a personal reflection. It felt really personal. But this is what I saw, bringing it full circle. That same person, I saw later how another person totally fucked them over in business. And we had a long talk about it. I said, he fucked you over. I would never talk to him again if I was you. He doesn't respect
Mm.
you and he's not respectable. He fucked you over. And if you continue to, I said this, to, I said, if you continue to fuck with him, I said, you're going to be the bitch like forever. I said, don't be his bitch. I said, he took your
Mhm.
lunch. He took your lunch one time. Don't hang out with them after that. Once somebody takes if they get the lunch from you, you know, you
Yeah,
don't
no, you
just,
gotta. Yeah.
and he did nothing. He kept fucking with the dude. I said, oh, this guy, he's he's a he doesn't have the metal. He doesn't have the metal, or, and this is what I think it was. He recognized, yeah, he did get used. Yeah, this other guy took advantage of him, but he still thought that he could use that other guy again
Hmm.
later. And it's like this is what I call putting ghosts in your house.
Mm.
It's like you have a new house and you're just putting ghosts in
Uh-oh.
your house, stuff that's going to come back and haunt you later.
You froze for a second there. You said
Oh
you said
no.
it. Yeah, you said it's like putting ghosts in your house, and then
Yeah,
all I heard
because
was
these
stuff that's gonna haunt you
oh
later.
yeah, because these are the kinds of decisions that come back to haunt you later when you're in the
Okay.
shower
Yeah.
in those quiet moments alone where you know that you let that person take advantage of you and you didn't say anything, and and it causes a buildup of resentment, and it's so toxic to walk around with that.
Yeah. 1,000%. Yeah, and that's I and this is what made back in those days too when I was working with this particular person because we started to kind of having it out because initially what we agreed on was all right, you've got all the celebrity connections. I'll get my artist homies to, we'll see who works and we'll pair them up with one of your celebrity connections. We'll make projects. I'm like, we'll do this shit. I'm like, bro, like you gotta understand, like like I've turned something from nothing to the point where, the fucking feds came knocking on my fucking door. I didn't, it's not like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
started off with like no money and was like, how can I turn this shit way the fuck up? And come on. So you got to understand, I got the capability. You feel me?
Yeah.
And that's basically what I kind of explained to him. And, when I started seeing that he was only using the celebrity contacts to dangle in front of people just to get more attention on the stuff we were doing, I'm like, bro, we can't do that. Like, I'm out here telling people, like, hey, they might potentially be able to do a project with this person. They're excited about that, man. Like they think that it's going to happen. And then when we get on stage and say, oh no, we're picking the big dogs, that's a bad look. That makes us look bad. It makes me look bad. Because these people, people trust me because I'm part of the community, you know?
Definitely.
And that was one of the first like headbutts that we had and
Well,
come to
what was your
find out what's up.
what I'm sorry, I just want to ask you, so like it was a headbutt because like you said that and they didn't understand immediately that you were right?
Yeah. Because they were like, well, how are we going to get people to come to the spaces and check out the stuff? I'm like, what? I'm like, well, not by making them think that we're going to give them jobs. Let's just make some cool shit and build a community. Because I got, because that was the early thing was like, hey, have them sign up for this, and they'll be in our roster in our Rolodex. And then when we decide, but we he already had like a few other people in mind. So
Hmm.
despite that we were building this Rolodex, he wasn't picking from it. That
Mm.
wasn't what we were picking from. So it was just like, hey, tell people that they might be able to get a collaboration with a celebrity just so they keep fucking with us, and come into our spaces. So when we do drops, we have a lot of people who, know us,
Mm.
and now they're showing up thinking like, oh, well, maybe if I come and support, maybe if I'm already in the Rolodex, if I come and support, that might get me closer to getting a job with whoever.
Mm.
And after the first time I built the one project, Then when we did the next project, it was all the same framework that I built, but now I'm not getting the calls to help do this and do that. And everybody's like, yo, where's GodCloud? They're like, what's up? And, course person's hitting up my other friends and they're like, well, so they're like, he keeps asking us to do this for fun, that we're doing it for fun. And they were like, but we know that you made money off of this. So they're like, so why is he asking us to do it for fun? I'm like, wait, what's he asking you to do for fun? And then they would tell me, and I'm like, well, that's my job. Like, that's my job in this circle. I'm like, so he's trying to get you to do what I do for free by promising you chance to be, in the upper echelon.
Oh
And
my
I'm like, you know what?
God.
I'm like, tell him this much, which was my rate. So then he kind of knew that they're coming to me, and then the motherfucker, he actually said to me, he's like, why does everybody just want money? And I'm like, because you want
Why
them
does
to
everybody
do
just want
work.
free work?
Yeah. And I was like, dude, like, why do you keep saying for fun? And I'm like, because not for nothing, the celebrity that we're working under is getting paid off of this, that we're building this shit for. They're getting paid. They're getting a piece of this.
Yeah, this ain't
Like,
the playground.
right. I'm like, I don't give it. I'm like, and I told him, I was like, listen, man, like, I've met a lot of famous people. That doesn't mean anything to me, like, it doesn't do anything for me. So I don't, and he was like, well, I didn't know that. I thought that you'd be excited to just, what? I'm like, no, motherfucker, money. And, that's, that the relationship ended up fizzling out. But a lot of people would still, just like you would say, would be like, well, maybe this, maybe if I keep on, doing the free work,
Oh,
because he did get a little crew of people to do the free work, and they'd be like, well, maybe if I keep doing it, maybe this will happen. I'm like, listen, if you don't got shit in writing, why do you think your sweat equity is going to all of a sudden be worth anything? If
I
you've
know
been,
why. Because it's implied, and because people actually lie to you sometimes, and they tell you
yeah,
that, and they tell
mhm,
you stories, and they lie to you without lying. They get you hyped up on their life philosophies. The motherfuckers come in and say stuff like, "Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All ships rise." Da da da,
all
and
that shit. Yep.
they're telling you all their personal philosophies, but that doesn't apply to you.
Right. Yeah.
That
No,
applies to
1,000%.
the people who they're sharing with. And
Yeah.
it's like the worst thing. It's like the worst thing to, I have to remind my friends often that there are tiers. Everything has tiers, right? Like even like you and I might know the same person, but the things that they offer you ain't the same things that they offer me,
Mm, yeah, that's true.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking. But I know plenty of times it's happened because people like to tell me stuff because I know how to keep a secret. But don't think ever for a minute anyone can play Maximilian because best believe if someone's fucking me over, somebody knows about it and they are running straight and fucking telling me because I'm
Oh,
a good
yeah.
person. I'm a good person and people want me to stay in this space. And you know, if there was some here, this is like, earlier I asked you for your advice on how to handle confrontations, but I didn't really share like I didn't give any of some Galfa ways I handle some things. There's one thing I wanted to say. It's really related to this. Is like how do we handle these situations? Because it hurts. Right? But I say when someone is doing something shady, whether it's like get that feeling in the stomach, like you were talking about, like oh this doesn't quite feel right, or you just know straight up that they're, you know, that part doesn't cost $5,000 or
Hmm.
like whatever it is, right? Even if it's somebody pretending to be friendly, but actually something that they did behind the scenes that was totally not a friendly move. Right? This happens a lot. How do we handle that? Do we confront?
Mm,
And my first question is, do I want this person in my world? If the answer is no, bitch, I'm not telling you shit. I'm gonna let you think you got away with murder. But guess what? When I see you, same energy.
mhm.
Same energy as the truth, It's like I remember one day I was on a Twitter space, like just doing some like community, just like a community space. It was for this new meme coin that I thought was like so super fun, right? And so
Mhm.
I was in there, I was in there, fooling around. I don't usually play with memes and stuff like that, but when I
Sure,
do,
yeah.
I really enjoy it. So this was like a
Yeah.
public live community space, and I was on stage, and the coin was on stage, and like a co-host or something, and a person whose voice I recognized got on a Twitter space and tried to troll me. It's so hilarious because I know they thought they were disguising their voice, but I recognized the voice instantly. I'm
Oh
a
wow.
I'm a performer, and I have crazy like my listening skills. See,
Yeah.
I'm an actor. Like I can emulate any cadence. Like I'm a genius. I don't brag about this enough, but I my my recognition is just crazy. So I totally recognize this woman's voice. And I was like, "Oh my god." Because, for any fellows listening, let me share something with you that women never do. What women never do is go on a public Twitter space and troll another woman who they don't know. That's not how women do. That's not
Yeah.
the kind of stuff that we do. If a woman is trolling me, it's because the bitch knows me, or she thinks she does, or she knows a little bit
Uh,
about me. Because you have to know enough about someone to not like them or whatever, to go
right,
on a
right,
public
right.
space and try to troll. Like, that's just not how girls do. You know what I'm saying? And also, I recognize the voice. It's like you can't put on some little over enunciation of your New York accent and think that you're fooling anyone. Bitch, I see you. I see you. And you know what I'm saying? I don't have to say anything because you just showed me. And so it's like there's people that I don't fuck with. And it's like they might not even know that I know, and I don't care. And that's like part of the thing is like, is this person going to be in your life? If not, you don't even have to waste your energy confronting them. You don't have to be their teacher. You don't have to show them the light. You don't have to show them the way. If they're a bad liar, let them continue being a bad liar. I feel like a lot of times people give help to people who don't deserve it. If somebody is lying to your face and they're a terrible liar, don't be like, you're a bad liar, because guess what? Now they're going to go work on their lies.
You're
And you just
lying.
help them.
Yeah. Damn. Good point. Yeah. Shit.
Do they deserve
Wow.
your help? No. But if it's your friend, if this happened to me and I said, you know what, this bitch is tripping, but I really care about her. I don't know why she's doing this, but like if I had
Hmm.
invested more in the friendship, or if I had super low self-esteem and was so desperate for friends, never gonna happen. But I'm just saying, like, if the situation had been such that I wanted or needed to keep this person in my life, I would have said something.
Yeah. Like, yo, the fuck going on? Like, what's happening? Like, drop the what? Like, drop the bullshit. What's going on? Type shit. Like, yeah. I've had to do that with some people too, and like yeah, I can even remember too, like dealing with plugs back in the day, being like, shit, like, yo, I done fucked up the money. Like, I ain't what the fuck I'm gonna
How?
say? And they gonna be like, yo, they like, yo, Dread. They're like, that's everybody used to just call me Dread. They're like, Dread, like, what the fuck?
uh
Like, what do you need? And I'm like, I listen, like I fucked up the money, man. Like, what's up? They're like, yo, just go through this and get the shit back straight. I'm like, got you, all good. But that it just depends on how much value do you really bring and vice versa, like how much value is really being swapped. And if somebody is like a real fucking sack of shit, if they're really like on some shit that's like yo, I can't have you around. I flat out told people that shit, like, listen, man, like, your energy fucking sucks. Like, you were like a loud TV on the fuzz that is just following me around. I can't go away. Like, get the go. No, 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 go. Like, I've done that to people. Like, been like, I can't. There's nothing here. Like, nah. But
Where that's
yeah,
that
like,
that's
but
like you just gave them the you're dismissed call your parents and tell them to pick you up from
Yeah,
school.
basically. Like, people have been, I've like been like, yo, man, you need some cat. Like, here go $40. Give this to the
Bye.
cabbie and tell him to take you however fucking far this $40 fucking take you. Like, I want you on the outskirts of the fucking city.
Right?
Like,
Oh
get
my
the fuck
God.
away. But like, yeah, man. So it's a little bit of that being like, hey, yo, I can't. Ow, shit. Yo, this baby be sneaking up on me. Hey, you got me a present.
Oh, what's in there?
Oh, you brought Daddy some toys. Oh, she brought me some of my Dragon Ball toys.
Oh.
Yo, beat this. So I never thought I would ever hold this figure right here. This is Nail from Dragon Ball Z, right? He was in the show for probably about like 10 minutes, but these sell for like $100 out the box. I got lucky. I got
Rare.
one. What's that?
It must be rare because he
super
such
rare.
a short appearance. Yeah.
Super rare. Yeah. So yeah, I just got him in the mail the other day, but like
Nice.
I never thought I'd hold this figure ever before. But that'll be done soon, kiddo. That'll be done soon, kiddo. Then I'll come down, we'll play. But yeah, you really gotta get comfortable with setting boundaries. It's what it is. That's what all of this stuff is. You gotta really be comfortable with setting boundaries, with saying like, hey, this is what I'll tolerate this, but I won't tolerate that. And I'll tell you another thing too, like that same person, he said that I was slow. And yeah, but he said it kind of jokingly, because we were trying to find an artist for the project, this and that, and he would just go funny shit. He would just go around to people, keep saying the same thing, like, hey, I'm doing this and would love to connect. Hey, doing this, would love to connect. And one of my other friends sent me a message and was like, yo, dude, these fucking bots are out of control. And I'm like, that's my partner. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, dude, like you're talking and people think you're a bot. Like, this is bad. But he had talked to like a few people. Like, I think he messaged like JR and Warhodl, and they responded back. And he's all like, oh, see, he's like, I already talked to these guys. You're moving slow. And I'm like, motherfucker, I know them. Like, I know them. So like, what's the fucking point of me like reaching out? Like, I know them. Like, if you want whatever. But he called me. He was like, yeah, he's like, you're moving slow. And that shit got under my fucking skin.
Absolutely.
And I checked them right the fuck there.
What'd
What'd
you say?
I was like, bro, I'm like, first off, I was like, don't ever call me slow. Like, don't ever say that shit. And I'm like, second, you are literally like, if you ask me to help find the artist, but now you're following me into the spaces that I just go into and are talking to all of the people who I know, like, what is this? Like, let me do my job, because I feel like what's about to happen is you promise to pay me this, but if you do the job before I can do the job, now I don't get that money. That's what I kind of felt like was it wasn't what happened, but that's what I was starting to think. It's like, why are you like?
It maybe if you hadn't said anything, maybe that was going to happen.
Yeah, could have been. But no, I told my motherfucker, I'm like, don't ever call me fucking slow, motherfucker. Like, yo, that shit got me tight. But again,
that's so important though, and you caught it though, because look, that little comment. See, like the first time he said it was just the two of you. What if he would have said that and there was anybody else in the space? You would have had to handle it very differently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There would have been. And I've had that happen too. Like a motherfucker who was, and I told you who I got into the space with, right? I told you who I was working with prior even coming into Web3, and all of us got into Web3 around the same time. But one of those folks, the person who I had known the longest, he brought up my, my history in a space in front of people. And I'm like, bro.
Like as a flex?
I'm like,
Like,
yeah, yeah, like
don't fuck with me because GodCloud is a badass. Like that?
no, 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 no. No, 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 no. He said some shit. I got the baby up here, so I can't really
Mm.
say it. But he was like, "Oh, well, remember when you were, all like this
Oh,
and blah 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 blah
wow.
blah." And I'm like, "Bro, like you for real about to say that to me?" And I'm like, "Dude." And all I said was like, "All right." And I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "That's how you want to play it?" I was like, "Okay." And after that, I just deaded him. But then he ended up hitting me back and was like, "Yo, like he's like, I never thought that you'd get famous and then ditch me or some shit." But then I told him, I was like, "Motherfucker," I'm like, "You said this, and that made me be like, fuck you." I'm like, "So that's what this is." And he's like, "What? Did I really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what the fuck you mean? Did you really?" Like, "Yes, you did." And he was like, "Dude, I was going through my own stuff." He's like, "I'm so sorry." He's like, "I would never I would never want to like intentionally do you harm." But I was like, "Bro, but that shit wasn't cool. And that shit made me fucking hate you." So that. And then
So,
he kept yeah.
he kept apologizing. Okay.
He
Okay,
kept
that's
apologizing. Yeah, he kept
to his
apologizing, and I was
credit.
like, "You know what, man?" I'm like, "All right, bro," because we were bros, and we had done a lot of shit together. I made some milestones and everything, and I was like, "You know what, man? Like, all right, like whatever. Like, I'm not about to still be mad at you, but whatever. Like, okay." And I don't really accept people's apologies, which I think that's something too. I think that people need to reject apologies sometimes. Like,
Oh,
I'll reject
yes.
a motherfucker apology in a minute. Yeah.
How
I'm
you do
so
that?
sorry.
You
Be
do that.
gone.
How do you do that? You say, "Oh, doesn't. What do you say? Not buying it." What do you you point? You just point. You
No,
just point.
I will say I reject your apology. That's it. Or like if somebody says, "Well, I'm sorry," I'm like, "Well, you should be," and I don't accept your apology.
Right?
That's it.
That's valid.
That's it.
That's totally valid. That's valid. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, I get this advice all the time. My most favorite mentors, they all say the same thing. They say, "Maximilian, better to not ask for permission and apologize later." This comes from all the billionaires I know. The millionaires say it too. These are, I'm trying to get those billions. This is motherfuckers I listen to. You a hundred thousandaire? I don't know if I have time to listen. But all but my billionaire mentors, they all say better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Mhm.
So I get that also. But it's like discernment. Discernment. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, well, not actually sometimes, but all the time. And GodCloud, I know you have to go give some baby cloud some time too. But I was just gonna say, discernment. It's like that's really an area that I think if there's one area to be strong in, it's discernment.
Mhm. Yeah. No, that's yeah. Yeah. And it all really just comes down to, like what what's really gonna like make or break shit, because there's been times too where I've overreacted and I'm like, "Oh fuck, like yikes, like that was a little that was a
Did
little
you?
too much." Yeah.
Did you overreact? Why did you
Oh,
overreact?
because I ended up like getting in trouble and shit. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean? Like,
but why? So when you say you overreacted, that makes me feel like you feel in hindsight like you could have handled it a different, better way. Is that what you
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Okay.
with a little more like tact or poise, I should
Could you
say.
have
Like,
actually though? Could you have really?
yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, and yeah, and then like looking back, 100%, a
Oh.
lot of stuff, because I had to, really rein myself in, the and again, like a lot. So my biggest problem is I get caught up with trying to be, how can I put this? With trying to be the idea of myself, you
That's
know.
what we're supposed to do.
But
That's how I feel, is that we're supposed to always be living the ideal of
yeah,
ourselves.
no, I mean like the idea of like, how can I put this? I was talking to my dad about this the other day too.
Mm.
Like people, and just like how you were saying, how you don't want to have certain people like think maybe a certain way about you. You know, I feel like people are expecting certain things of me. Like one example, I can remember when I was a kid, and a lot of this spilled into my adult life too, where people would be like, "Yo, like, ooh, like GodCloud's gonna kill you or whatever." And I can remember this one day where my friends, like, I had got into it with this kid, but I was getting in a lot of trouble when I was a kid, and my mom was like, just like, please, just like enough, you know. And my friends were like, "Yo, you're not gonna whoop this guy's ass?" And I'm like, "Nah, like I'm trying to not, like I'm really trying to not." And they were not having that. So they grabbed the kid and dragged him back to me and were like, "Yo,
You
we
gotta say
got him."
something at least.
They're like, "Do something." And I was like, fuck. So right then, that the idea, my friend, this was in like third grade, yo, that like we were little monsters. And most of those kids are not doing good now. To just like, you know, well, I can't, I'd see them like walk to the dope spot back in the day too, but, you know, like we all, you know, just that, like them being like, "Yo, God, like, waste them. That's what you do. This is how we see this is what you do. This is what we see you do. This is what you do. Do that." You know, instead of me trying to at that time be like, "Hey, I'm trying to not trying to get into a fight today," because I was always getting into fights when I was a kid. Like my mom's like sick of being up at the school, but you know, I fucking caved. I fucking caved at that point and just, you know, went off on the guy. But that I feel, and it even with my music too, because I feel because people see the guitars, they see me doing so much stuff that they want me to make like super technical, like prog shit all the time, you know?
Because they
And
wanna fucking learn, right?
yeah,
They wanna see your fucking fingerboard and everything.
right. Or even like when I rap, people think because I'm, you know, I can talk and everything. They think I'm gonna be like a backpack rapper or be rapping about like some woke shit, but like that's just not me, you know. So when I'm creating, sometimes I start getting into the thing of what people expect of me. You
Mm,
know, I start leaning into that.
mm.
So now I'm trying to be like, okay, am I being that or am I being me? And that's my uh biggest like thing to discern from is like, yo, do I want to like what am I doing right now? Like, is this my shit or is this what I think that people think I am that is now kind of slipping into my brain? You feel
Mm,
me? And it's kind of a
mhm,
complex thing, you know, to explain, but
mm.
that's what I fight with regularly.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
deep. I'm so shocked to hear you say that. I want to shout out Hefner. What's up, Hefner? Joining us from X. What up,
Yo.
LSG? Yeah, that's the energy for you, God Cloud. When you were talking about your creativity, that's really interesting that you say that, and I totally get that. So, have you just curious? Have you ever approached a writing session or a song with the intention to write or create something for those people that want that from you?
Yeah, and you know what ends up happening?
Mm,
It's always a big waste of time because I'm always like, let me do this, but then like my brain and body won't do it. I'm out of sync. It won't work. It won't happen.
and
It's not until I'm like, ugh. It's not until I'm just like, like what am I doing? And then I can just lay it out. Like I tell you, like with the music from the George Lopez project, I was going
yeah.
through that. Like I had the bones of it down, but it needed one thing. And I'm
Mm.
thinking like, you know, I'm like, well, everybody gonna want to hear some wild finger drumming type shit or some wild melodic type shit. Da da da. So let me do all this shit. Like let me do this and do that. And then I'm like, yo, I'm like, this ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't feeling right. And I remember I was, you know, bouncing it back and forth between me and Sabet. And Sabet's like, he's like, you're doing too much, man. He's like, you need to just kind of like let it rock. And I shit you not, I that after he said that, I just kind of put my head down and played my keyboard like that with my head down. And in one take, no look, I played the shit that's on the record. I did the thing. Just when I was just like, all right, just let it come down and just let me do it. You know, and yeah. So yes, in sessions I've done that, but it's always just me like fighting with myself. It's always me fighting with myself. But until I'm just like, yo, just blah, 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 just do whatever is gonna make you feel good right now. And that's what I do, and that's what usually comes out as as good music. So again, and I think we just got to the bottom of it. People, do what's gonna make you feel good, because it can't ever feel good to give in to somebody who's like trying to pull some shit on you. It can't ever. It can never feel good. So try to do what makes you feel good, and there's a difference between that and like indulging in like rage or some shit, or like indulge, like, because that's how I equate that to. I heard somebody explain it in this way, and I'm like, fuck, that's it. And
Huh.
anybody with a temper will know this, but it's like eating like a half of a cheesecake or a whole cheesecake. It's good going down. It's like, oh man, this cheesecake's great. Fucking, this is great. The crust is great. Like, I'm going to eat all the soft part and eat all the crust later by itself, and it's going to be the best. But after you do that, you're going to be
Oh
like,
no.
oh man, I shouldn't have did that. Like shit. So, so do what feels good, do what feels right, but don't overindulge in those, in those other emotions.
Yo, that is so hilarious. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. You surprised me, GodCloud. I didn't know what you were gonna say, but that's really interesting that the explorations they ultimately didn't feel authentic in the moment, and it wasn't vibing. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I try to just, it's hard to, but I try to just like describe what I'm feeling or going through. So I feel like we're all humans and we all kind of feel similar things. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if I can like quantify it verbally, then other people can be like, oh shit, oh yeah, okay, that makes
See,
sense.
see, GodCloud, like it's one of the things I love about you is talking with you about these things. Like you're so different from me. Like if I am angry or like any kind of like if I have any emotions going on, I can't do any kind of music. I'm not because my instrument is my voice, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually a magician. When I sing, I'm smiling. I'm doing magic. My voice is a spell. And if I am not absolutely pure when I'm singing to you, I'm poisoning you. And I know it.
Yeah, yeah.
And, for the recording, now, if I'm on tour, I can use the music as an emotional set point and go back to that time when I recorded the music and was feeling good. That's the
Uh-huh.
power of music. Is music is it's an emotional set point for people.
Sure, yeah.
If I'm on my deathbed and you put that bubble butt song on, I'm dancing. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how old that shit. I'm dancing. You know, because that's an emotional set point. I danced and felt so good at that song so many times. I only have to think about bubble butt to start feeling better. So it's very interesting that you're able to take your feelings and put it to your music. I wish that I could do that, but it's not how my gift works, but it's so fascinating. I mean, I could do it. You know what? I should change that back. I could do it, but those songs will be like little bullets. And maybe I should just make an album of those little bullets for when people need to feel angry, because anger is a treasure. Anger is a treasure. I love and I do, surprise, listen to angry rap music. Why? Because the bitch is angry. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But I do it when I'm feeling down. When I'm feeling down, give me that angry rap music, because anger is above the lower feelings. Like if you're feeling depressed, you're feeling sad, someone just took over, your life, they took something from you, you got a breakup. The best, the next best feeling emotion that's higher on the tone scale actually is anger. It
Mm.
is like revenge. So if you're feeling bad, reach for revenge. I think a lot of times people, hey,
I can't even knock it. I can't even.
it's the next most accessible emotion. And once you're at revenge, then you go from revenge to like anger. And then from anger, you can go to, so you keep working your way up. But I don't knock those other emotions, but I want to stand in the place where I'm past the hurt part and I want to sing from there. I can tell you about the bad thing that happened, but I need to stand in the safe, happy, victorious place and hearken back to that time. I can't stand in the danger zone and sing to you about it because I don't know how this shit's gonna work out.
Yeah. No, that's a real thing, like with music, it just like you said, it's like a spell, you know. Like, you got to be really careful with and part of me when I was rapping early on, like I was really like rapping about my, like street shit, this or that, and then like something happened where shit kind of got close. Shit kind of got close, and I'm like, fuck, I'm making instrumentals from this point. I'm like, like I don't even want to be bringing, that type of shit, like, like, and not for nothing, like broadcasting that
Yeah.
type of stuff. 'Cause that's what I never understood about rap. It's like, okay, like you're doing this fuck shit, and you wanna, you want to, you still, to give it some credibility, you got to be like, yeah, I'm still kind of active or whatever, But why would you go and say you're doing all, if you're active in the shit, go say you're doing all this shit, then put it on like DSPs and
Yeah. And then
start
and then be
distributing that
surprised.
shit.
And then be
Yeah,
surprised when
right,
the cops show up saying, "Sir, we'd like to ask you some questions."
right. They're like, well, what about? It's like, well, we bought your record, see, and we're investigating these crimes, and on track 7 and 6. It lines up, you said this and said that, and guess what?
Here's the body over here. Here's the body
Right,
over here.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I never understood that shit, and that but again, that's why when whatever happened with me, it was funny because people, well, it wasn't funny, but people were like, "Wait, what?" They're like, "GodCloud?" They're like, "Yo," they're like,
Oh
I
my God,
remember
Cloud.
yeah, one dude was like, "I thought he was like an artist or some shit." I'm like,
Why do
"Bitch,
people
I'm
think we're so
this."
soft? Why do people think we're so fucking soft? Artists are like the hardest people in the world. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We like walk through the fire all the time. We just chill in the fire, just chilling in the flame.
Yeah, right.
You know?
That's standard,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, look, I know you probably have a million important things to do today, and I'm so happy that I got to spend this time with you as always. And I really
It's a
appreciate
great
your
combo.
wisdom. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love spending time with you. So, do you have time to tell us what you're up to? What should we buy this week? Tell us something we should buy this week. I'm gonna go buy it.
What do you want to buy? I got, well, I mean, same stuff right now. Drip
Well,
just
tell.
put some new stuff out on
Oh,
Drip.
oh,
If you
did
want to get the
you?
droplets and go do the thing with that, go do that. Sample
What about
packs are up.
something? What about something from the archives? What about something that is still available that you maybe haven't talked about for a while? That's still fire. I know you got a lot of that.
Ah, shit. Something's still a fuck. Hold on. Let me think. You know what? So right now, what I have, damn, I don't really think I have anything old up for sale right now. I
Well,
do
I'm glad
have
to hear
some
it. Kind
shit.
of.
No. I
I'm
think
happy and sad.
there might be some old joints on OpenSea. My B-side, my Ride or Dies track, that was the B-side to GodCloud on Doomsday, which was the only thing that like survived from that era. But they're not listed now. But if anybody wants to make an offer on
Okay.
those, I think the floor is like crazy on them right now because ETH was lower back when I was selling them. Um,
Oh,
and yeah,
you're like
yeah. So I think that,
5e.
yeah. Yeah, they're up there a little bit. They're not 5 ETH. I think I was selling for like, as I started off at like 0.025 or something like that.
Mm.
And back then that was around like $25 or something like that. But I don't even know what ETH is at right now. The last time I checked,
Oh.
it went up to 0.04. They were like $120 the last time I checked, but yeah, some of those might be up still, not listed. So if anybody want to make an offer, whatever, sample packs up as usual.
Here, let me throw up this drip house. Bam.
Yeah, the drip house thing is there. Those are cool. Some more finger drumming videos from the archives. And I think that's all I got up for sale right now. But I got to re-release GodCloud on Doomsday because that record is dope. I'm gonna put it back out.
Is that the one that you did with Monica Segos art on the cover?
That's the one that got disappeared off of Record Shop because Record Shop disappeared. But I'm gonna put that one. What's up?
No, that's what I was gonna ask you. So how are you gonna? I've been wondering how are you gonna handle it? Where is it gonna go?
I'm dropping that shit on my website. Just regular cash, whatever. I think I'm gonna do like $1 a song, $5 for the record. No, you know what I'll do? I'll do it to make it make sense. I'll do like $1.25 for a track, $5 for the full EP. It's five tracks. But I do want to, because this is my whole thing with that. And I think I told you with one of the B sides. So when I was putting that record out, I had 2 tracks that I made during that era, right? That I didn't, put on the record or on the EP. So there was Ride or Dies and there was Lucy Fire, which is a fucking barn burner of a track. Like you can tell I'm like going through it on that one. Like I was, it was a lot of shit happening to poor old me.
Oh God, Cloud! I can't wait to be looking at the lyrics. I'm gonna be texting your ass. God, Cloud, what do you mean when you said this? What does this mean? What does this mean?
Yeah, it was hardcore. Yeah, it was a rough record, but it was just a lot of shit happening. A lot of shit happening on that record. But anyway, I had these two tracks, right? Ride or Dies and Lucy Fire, right? And Ride or Dies I dropped on OpenSea as like a single. It was like, hey, this is a B-side, from GodCloud on Doomsday. Track didn't make it, but hey, you guys want to get this first, go for it. And when I did the drop on Record Shop, I dropped another B-side, which was Lucy Fire, and I was like, hey, this is what I wanted to use to onboard everybody. I made 300 copies of that particular track and got rid of all of them. So people who weren't even into NFTs got that and used that as their intro into Web3, this and that. And that, once the platform went belly up, because the way that everything was so laid out, it was so embedded in the platform. So it was hard for you to experience it without the platform. You know what I'm saying? So this time I think I might do that joint for free and maybe somehow connect it to some like on-chain thing where you can redeem something or something that I haven't thought that through yet all the way. But yeah, Lucy Fire might be free. Other tracks gonna be $1.25. Record's gonna be $5.
Hold on, I just lost GodCloud. He'll be back. I think he just had a connection issue there. Let's see. Well, I'm looking out for GodCloud. Okay, my brother dropped out. I'm gonna keep the screen open and keep an eye out for him. But just in case he's not able to make it back, I just want to thank you for spending time with us. It's always good to see you here, friends. It's always good to talk with you. It's always good to share stories with you. For the friends who tuned in, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I want to give a shout out to my friend Berhanu, who I know in real life. Thank you. And I'm so glad that you're spending time with us. Friends, I want you to know that I miss you and I love you. And in case nobody told you today, you can do it. You know we Cabalin.